Welcome back to the channel. In this episode of Should You Play, we're going to take a look at Marvel Snap. Now, we don't normally do video games. We do the odd one here and there. We don't normally do apps or stuff that's mobile, other than Pokemon Go. Okay, there's a few exceptions, but normally we focus on tabletop stuff. I feel this is close enough, being a card game, being about Marvel, being about that culture that we're all about, that play these tabletop games, that this is one for you. If you want to know if it's paid to win, is it fun, is it tactical, what are the good and bad points, that's what this video is going to be about. I will go through a game and show you how it works and then talk about some of the stuff I like and don't like. I'm going to be honest right now, most of it is like. This game has been fantastic. Initially, I didn't want to get into it because with these apps, you always have to throw a ton of money into them or you just spend so much time playing them. But eventually it got hold of me and now I've been spending some time playing it, but most importantly, not money. So I feel that should be the first point I address. Loads of apps normally have you spend tons of money. It's how they survive. Now you can spend money in this game and it will accelerate the cards you find. So you'll find them quicker, but you can get them playing without that. And I really do think a big part of the experience is unlocking those cards. But also when you spend money and unlock credits or gold or whatever you want, when you upgrade the cards, you're not making them more powerful, you're not finding rarer cards from booster packs, you are just upgrading the cards. The best way I can show you is, I'm going to crack open the app now. So instead of, like I say, booster packs or stuff like that, you're spending money on improving the look of your cards. Now in the game there are variants, so for example here we've got a Captain America and then we've got a different version. When you upgrade, so you get an upgrade here, basically the card changes. So you can see this one slightly moves. Same with this one. But then, I'm trying to find an example now. A card like this will have, like the title moves, there's a bit of background, there's a bit of 3D to it. It just upgrades stuff like that. It's nothing that's going to change the gameplay. It's just cool stuff for you. You can eventually get legendary, so you can see a bit of glare on the Scarlet Witch there as well. So it's very small upgrades. I do like the upgrades, but I'm a much bigger fan of variant cards. So you can find here, there's Jessica Jones, I've got an Odin here. So there's 8-bit variants. You can find other ones like this Cap. Again, it's just a different art style. And like I mentioned, variants can't be bought. There is like a battle pass, but again, I found no problem just playing, doing my quests and unlocking cards. If we take a quick look here, I've only been playing like a week or two. And yeah, I've got a ton of cards unlocked, meaning I can make a ton of decks. Because in this game, your decks are only 12. I'm not sure how to finish that sentence. There are 12 cards in a deck. So if we click on here, for example, these are my 12 cards at the top. You want to try and pick sort of, in any game, you want some low drops and some high drops. And then if you click onto one of the cards themselves, it will tell you what they do. So this one says, once this is in your hand, you can see the unrevealed location. So basically in a game, there's going to be 3 locations. You're going to drop cards on them which have abilities, and it's whoever has the most power at 2 bases, 2 to 1 obviously wins. Now there are a few exceptions. So if one base is tied, it's whoever is winning more on the base they're winning. So if it's 1-1, it's the bigger. So for example, I'm winning by 20, he's winning by 5 on his base. It means I'm going to win the game. There's a few small variations like that which you should know because it's worth knowing playing this game, as well as the cards have an effect, so the bases and locations themselves have effect. It feels very much something like Smash Up, which I'm a massive fan of. So the locations will say stuff like, whatever card you play here, multiply, or it will say you can only play 1 cost here or 2 cost, or you can't play cards here on turn 5, or cards here have minus power, whoever has the lowest power here wins. Variations which make every game interesting. There's a ton of different locations. So I think, yeah, I'm just a massive fan of that. Every time I go into a game, it's a different game. Even if I play with the same deck, there's different locations, different opponents. There's more variation in this game than a lot of other card games, and that immediately grabbed me. But speaking on the deck building for a second, you would think because there's only 12 cards, there's not much to it, but most decks, you have 4 of each card, so it's just stripping that down to 1 of each card, and it just works. It really works. I'm such a massive fan of the deck building in this. It doesn't require too much from you, but it also feels very rewarding. So there's cards like, what's a good example? Iron Fist here, which says move the next card you play one location to the left after it reveals. So you get to move a character. And a character like Multiple Man says when this moves, add a copy to their old location. So it's a good way to combo those and double up on things. Yeah, it's just stuff like that make it really interesting. There's decks built around the Guardians, so they've all got similar effects. You're trying to predict where your opponent plays a card. If you predict it correct, you get to draw a card. Or Rocket gets +2 power. Who else is there from the Guardians? There's just so many characters in this. These are just the ones I've unlocked as well. So we've got Gamora +5. Obviously, she's slightly more expensive. But yeah, that's those are some of the cards. I'm not going to go for everything. So if you see some stuff here you like, let me know in the comments and I can always tell you what they do. My favorite characters so far, one of my favorites from the comic Wolverine. When this is discarded or destroyed, play it at a random location. So it combos well with stuff like Carnage, which destroys stuff. If it destroys Wolverine, he gets to get played again, but Carnage still gets a bonus. So there's some really cool combinations. They've really thought about these themes and decks. But another massive thing I enjoy about the deck building is this, their featured locations. So the way this works is, it's going to keep moving, but I can't really do it about that. There's going to be a featured location every, I think it's week, but it just changes up games. It changes up the meta. So everyone's going to build around this. So when you play a card here, fill this location with copies of it. You're now building decks to try and play around that, meaning the game never gets stale. It's never the same game. It's never the same format, which it's just such a clever way of dealing with it, because no matter what game I get into, eventually I get bored with it because it's the same thing over and over. But obviously 2 weeks into it, I can't say, or however, maybe not even 2 weeks yet, but I can't say it's longevity yet because it's not fair. But going off that, it's looking pretty interesting. If all of that sounds good to you, let's jump into a game and see exactly how it works. I'll briefly show you the deck here. A little deck profile in this video. I've built a deck around predicting where my opponent's going to play cards. I've also got Uatu so I can see what the locations are before they're revealed. Basically, the first one reveals, second turn the second one, third turn the third one. So I can see that ahead of time so I can set up correctly. I do run Scarlet Witch in most of my decks. Basically, when she's revealed, she can replace a location if I don't like that one. Mr. Fantastic is great because he adds +2 to the locations to either side of him. Again, we've got Groot just to predict stuff. Now, the current featured location multiplies stuff. So I've got Hulkbuster, which basically is going to create 4 copies of it, and then they all merge together into one, leaving me space to then use the same location again to multiply this guy by 3. So obviously I get +3 to all of my cards. Super powerful. Namor is probably my favorite card in the game, honestly. He can just take a base by himself. He gets 5 power, which is up here. That's the cost. And then ongoing, +5 power if he's the only card there. So a really easy way to take a location. Obviously, we've got Mr. Fantastic to +2 to his location without actually being there, so he keeps his bonus. And the same with the Claw, he can +6. So they are our strategies. We'll see how they go. We are doing quite well. We've just got into gold, so we'll jump into a game and see how we get on. Let me know which decks you've been playing in the comments below, what you think of the game so far. Maybe your favorite cards, or if you've not yet tried it, maybe just let me know why you haven't, or if you're going to, because I'm super interested. This game's really drawn me in, so enough talking about the game though. Let's jump into one and I will show you how it works. So we'll search for opponent here. We've already spoke about the deck briefly. And let's see how it works in action. So like I mentioned, this is the first one that's revealed. So this says on reveal effects happen twice at this location. This is an on reveal effect, so I'm guessing he's going to try and use that as well. We're going to drop Rocket Raccoon there. And it works, so we are going to get a double hit off this. So he's going to get +4 to 6. He might have played the same, honestly. Okay, hasn't. So we have got a massive advantage already here. I'm losing. You are indeed. I think I'm going to play here again. So we'll get the +3 twice if he does play something there. The thing is, I don't think he's going to play something here on the chance it's destroyed. So let's give it a go. And we've managed to hit him again there, so that is a huge turn. He's got us back. Okay, so just as much power on his side. We are slightly ahead because of the Rocket Raccoon. And our final one, at the start of your turn, swap hands. Okay, so we don't really want any of our powerful cards here, but we can't really do much. So I think we're going to do this and hope we don't get destroyed. Or we could Hulkbuster. No, we're going to go for that. If it gets destroyed, then it gets destroyed. But we will get +2 if not. Okay, so we have survived. Always good. We're in a pretty good position, so I am going to hit Snap here. And I think we're going to drop Namor before he gets a hold of it. Which is 4 cost. Yeah, that's our best option there. We could have Hulkbustered and Nightcrawler, but yeah, it's not as appealing. That's a huge swing. So Elektra basically deletes a level 1 character or 1 cost character, which they just did. Can I risk Claw here? I don't think I can. But I also really don't want him to get it, so if this dies, I'm massively behind. If not, I probably win. I think we get a little cheeky with it. Let's give it a go. It's only a 25% chance, so we should be okay. Okay, so that's painful. We are still winning. Let's see what hand they have. So they've got a Hulk and a Miles Morales. If a card moved last turn, this costs 1. So I think he was planning to use that for the finale. What do I do here? I really want to drop Hulk, because obviously he's 12 for 6, which is really good. Which will definitely win us here, probably. I don't know where he's going to place his, so I'm going to go for it. These are the struggles in this game. Okay, so he's gone for the middle, which is interesting. That's an interesting choice. Oh, and it's been destroyed. That is painful. And he's lost that as well. Oh, that's horrible. That is awful. This is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, but you can see briefly there how the game works. Yeah, he's not happy about it, but sometimes it happens that way. So that's how it works. That's how the characters works, the locations, the deck building. Hopefully it's given you some idea if you want to try out this game. If you do decide to, let me know in the comments what characters you like I say, what decks you've been playing, any of that goodness. Haven't really got much else to say on it. I was trying to find some negatives. Like I mentioned, you can get the characters quicker by paying, but it's such a small increase. I don't think there can be any complaints behind it. You still need to play to gain stuff. So I don't know. I'm finding it really hard to find a negative at this point. Obviously, sometimes the featured locations can be annoying, so every deck is going to be the same, and it's a very overpowered strategy. I've seen some insane things using that deck, using that location. So yeah, it is a toss-up. Maybe that's something you won't like about the game. Other than that, you're probably going to enjoy it, so give it a go. This seems more like a go play than should you play. But yeah, I don't know, there's just so much to love about it. The upgrades and the stuff you grind for are only cosmetics, other than unlocking some of the cards. So basically, when you upgrade a card, you get higher on your collection level, which means you find more cards. I think it's a clever way of doing it. I've been enjoying cards. I've got lower levels all the way up until now, and it's nice seeing new stuff and trying out new decks. So I do actually prefer that it's sort of fed to you over a longer period rather than all at once. A few minuses, obviously, I've seen this online and it is one for me because I got a few of my friends into playing it as well. There is no versus or friends or friend list or anything like that, so you can play against people you know, which I think is a massive drawback because I do think this has some potential, and I think once people start playing it together as friends, maybe even tournaments, it opens up a whole new world. I do think it's something they're going to get into. It is still very new, and I have seen some of the developers and stuff on Twitter mention it's somewhere they're going with this, so I do think it's in good hands going forward. So yeah, it's exciting. It's a good game. It's Marvel, it's cards. If you like any of that stuff, you're probably going to like this. That is all I've got for this episode though. So if you've enjoyed this video, you like any of the other tabletop stuff, it's been any aid at all, please let me know in the comments, leave a like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.